Hello everyone, and welcome to another, part 2 of the last one, which is a kind of review, but more of a kind of suck it and see. But yes, so, usual culprit. Let's see if we can improve this bottle of piss. And kindly donated by Adrian, Victory Ale from Bateman's, which I've already done. So I have. So, is there any spill on the back of this? I'll put on the at the end of the video a link to this video, if I can find the bloody thing. 150 years of brewing, 1874 to 2024. Tradition with ambition. Premium strong beer, 6%. And our story is one of enterprise and innovation, always looking forward whilst remaining true to our family roots. Now with 5 generations and over 150 years of brewing experience, Bateman's is still fiercely independent. Honesty, creativity and gritty determination fuel our passion for our beers. One of our most popular beers, Victory, is brewed with pale and crystal malts and hopped with a classic combination of English Goldings and Challenger hops. A distinctive peppery and bitter orange aroma leads to a fruity malt taste balanced with a satisfying lingering bitterness. Set sail and enjoy. So this is kind of interesting because obviously we're going to blend this. I'm going to blend the two of them together. So this has got bitterness, it's got maltiness, but it's got bitterness. But it's a different type of bitterness. This is a more kind of traditional English bitterness, probably coming from the Challenger hops. There's a surprise. Whereas this has got a kind of more zesty kind of bitterness. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between the two, who wins out, and how does the malt affect it, because we improved this beer by adding a beer with a little bit more pale malt. Now this has got pale malt, but it's also got crystal, so it's got a little bit more to it. So it'll be interesting to see how that reacts with the kind of light pale malt of this one, whereas the pale malt in the lager worked with it because it just kind of slightly kind of boosted the maltiness in the same vein, and because there was no kind of real hoppy bitterness there, it kind of diluted the hops a little bit and just helped to kind of balance it out. So it'll be interesting to see what this one's going to be like, because there is a bit of a difference there, and it could clash. This is one of the problems with blending beers, is, you know, sometimes you just got to try it and, like I say, suck it and see, to see what it's like. So, usual thing, we'll pour out a mixed glass and then we'll pour out a glass each, just to kind of try and see what it's like. Like a kind of little kind of reminder of the flavours. So again, we'll start off with the, where's bugger? Oh God, there we go. And yeah, like I think I said it, but this was kindly donated by Adrian, but I couldn't review it because I'd already reviewed it, so I thought it's good to try it with this one. So there we go. So we'll do half a glass. Yes, we will. There we go, kind of half a glass. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll pour some of this out here and see what it's like. Right, so that's over there. I'll put that there. Don't lose track of it, okay? Jesus, gotta get the nib again, look. Bloody thing. Joke of a bloody bottle opener. Right, anyway, let's see what we get with this. Well, there's a colour change for a start, as you can see. That's going to keep it easy to track it. It's a bit bloody, it's starting to get a bit difficult the last time. And let's give it a wee hoochie-my-coochie as well. So let's try them out as is. Right. So let's remind us of this wonderful concoction. Oh God, it gets fucking worse. There's that piney into it. Jesus God, seriously. You dirty bugger, so he's there. Right, let's see what this one's like. Smell wise, You wonder what was in. I was looking at this, see if we can get a date on it. It just smelled a bit kind of strange there. Not really much of a smell, actually. A little hint of maybe sweetness, but Jesus, it's actually devoid of all kind of aromas. Yeah, that's got aromas. It's just kind of lacking. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Bit of sweetness, yeah. It's got a bit of challenger bitterness there. Eats the Goldings, giving a bit of light fruitiness. Yeah, it's a bit kind of malty, but not overly sweet. There's a maltiness to it, but there's not a sweetness really there to it. One thing I have noticed, it's quite carbonated actually. A bit more than I actually expected to be for that style of beer. I'm not saying it's overly carbonated, but just a bit more carbonated than I would have expected. It's not catch me and make me rift, but yeah. So, what's the concoction going to be like? A mixture between the two. Well, you're getting the aromas of this, of the Fuller's Griffin Gold. You're not getting any aromas. You're not getting any aromas from the actual original Bateman's Victory Ale, but yeah. On the aromas front, Griffin Gold wins. But it's in the taste front that really counts. It's different. I'll be honest, I prefer this to that, but by how much, I don't know, because I don't think the flavours are really coming through so much. I think maybe they're slightly a bit colder than what they need to be. This one can never be cold enough. It really should be a block of ice to hopefully try and kind of get rid of some of the flavours in this one. But I think the Victory Ale is maybe a little bit colder than what it needs to be, which wasn't actually that long in the fridge. And you're saying, well, why did you put it in the fridge in the first place? Well, the reason I put it in the fridge in the first place because it's actually quite warm in here just now. So at the end of the day, I don't want it sitting out because it's at room temperature right now. Room temperature is over 20 degrees, so I don't really want a fucking ale over 20 degrees, you know what I mean? So that's why it was in the fridge, just to give it a little edge to it, but maybe a bit too much of an edge. But look, let's have it now. Oh, Christ. I do apologise. But yeah. Let's try again. One thing I've noticed between the two. Oh, wait a minute. There's a bit of a change there in the back of the mouth there. I'll come to it back there in a minute. What I was going to say is, at the front of the mouth, just as you basically start to take a sip, you just feel there's a little bit too much carbonation. I think this is just slightly a bit too much carbonation. This is just slightly a bit too much carbonation than what you'd expect for these type of beers because they're ales. And because of that, when you're just initially taking a drink of the blend, the first thing you're noticing is, excuse me, is carbonation. Jesus fucking Christ. Seriously. Oh dear. Maybe here for some time. Many more bottles of these. Anyway. the main thing I'm getting from the blend is the pine has died down. There's a little hint of pine there, but it's also added in with the kind of bitterness of the Challenger, so it's not so noticeable. So it's like that. So first of all, the pine aftertaste is slightly diluted, and then because you've got the Challenger kind of different style of bitterness, that's kind of blending in at the back end of the mouth, and it's dropping that kind of level of pineness to what for me is a far more acceptable level. So straight away that's a win. Excuse me. The downside is between the two is it's a bit more carbonation than I actually want in an ale. So, it's like what you gain in the swings, you're losing in the roundabouts, unfortunately. So I've gained in the swings, but right now the roundabout's kind of repeating on me. But yeah. But yeah, the main thing that really annoyed me about this beer was that kind of piney aftertaste. It really did bug me. I thought, Jesus, fuck, why the hell are you playing that? And if you watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I am not a fan. I can cope with citrus to a certain degree and everything else, but see, when you're getting that piney aftertaste, I'm sorry, but you can shove that right up your arse. I mean, seriously, I'm not a fan of that at all. So straight away, this beer is easily kind of improved by just taking or kind of loading that kind of piney edge, and this is what's happened. I'm still trying to discover what's going on in the mid-tongue with the kind of different malts. This is the thing. I think the body has got a little bit better. Obviously, it doesn't feel like a golden ale anymore. It feels like got a little bit more body to it than that, and there's a little bit more maltiness to it, but a different style of malt. It's not as a case of just slightly boosting the existing kind of pale malt. The crystal is slightly kind of giving more of a malty edge to the mid-tongue. Not a huge malty edge, but it is giving a little bit more of a malty edge. But like I said, is front of the mouth, you're noticing the kind of bit too much of the carbonation, unfortunately, because they both are a bit kind of slightly more carbonated than they really should be, and for me really need to be. Moves on to the kind of mid-tongue, and while you're still getting the kind of slightly citrus edge flavours, you're getting a slightly more richer malt experience, which is quite nice. And I think if the Victory Ale was not as cold as it is, then you probably get even more. So you would. So that's a kind of my fuck up. Although I didn't think I had it in for that long. It was less than an hour. I thought I'd chuck it in for about 30 minutes or something like that. I think it was just slightly over 30 minutes. Jesus, and I've only got it about two and a half, and it's fucking over 20 degrees in there. If you are wondering, by the way, from the videos and that type of stuff, through there we have toilets. 2 of them actually. I'm not saying male or female and that type of stuff, it's just a case of whoever's bursting. 2 of you can be accommodated at the one time. Through there is the kind of kitchen and brewing area. So you've probably seen in other videos, so through there is in there. And in there is going out to the kind of main kind of warehouse and workshop area. And then above us, we have a mezzanine that's used for storage and just dumping any old bloody crap. There's an office here, and then through there, right through that, there's a wall behind the camera, and through the wall, there's another office, and then through that faraway wall, through the next office, is a server room, which has all kind of servers and networks and everything else and all that type of stuff. So, and if you wonder what we do is, we do lots of different things, but we do things in relation to banking automation, mostly kind of ATMs and advanced banking machines like recyclers and everything else. If you ever go to an ATM in the bank or whatever, and you can deposit money into it and pay bills and everything else, well, these are known as recyclers or banking machines. So we deal with them out there. So we repair them, we build them, we do bespoke things with them, we also recycle them, we do all manner of things with kind of ATMs and things like that. So that's what we do. And we're also doing a special kind of project in relation to casinos and things like that. So we're actually creating a kind of new kind of machine. So we are, which is a bit of a hybrid with lots of different extra functionalities that you wouldn't find in a normal banking machine. So that's what we do through there. And of course, as part of that, we also need to be connected to the different financial networks and do bits and bobs. So that's one of the things we kind of do. So that's my kind of main background, is mechanical and electronic engineering with kind of computer networking and IT there as well, and any other kind of strange kind of fuckwittery. Now, one of the things is we're doing is we also do kind of bespoke engineering. So we actually have to kind of, some of the machines we're actually building from a different kind of existing machine, which means we actually have to do a lot of kind of design and more kind of hard engineering, which is done over at our kind of other place over in Portsmouth by Adrian. Because if you're wondering who Adrian's not only a friend, but he's also my business partner. So he's over there doing a lot of kind of more of the heavier engineering work. He's out with gas axe and welding equipment and everything else and that type of stuff, and plasma cutters, and having great fun burning himself. And I'm over here just kind of tiptoeing around like a drama queen, you know, and drinking a lot. It's actually getting quite nice. It's actually I'm acclimatising to it. It's getting quite nice. So that's what we kind of do, if you're wondering what we're doing. So yes, that's my kind of kitchen and brewing kind of emporium there. But also what you don't see in there is there's also 3D printers and laser cutters and everything else in there as well. So that's the other side of the camera that you don't see when I'm filming. So yeah, we do all manner of things, and yeah, a lot of times we kind of manufacture in-house or design things in-house and just kind of get things done. But a lot of the kind of more heavier, dirtier work and that type of stuff, the more kind of physical and strenuous work, a lot of that's done by Adrian over in kind of Portsmouth. And yeah, it just kind of keeps us all kind of busy just now. And but yeah, to get back to this beer, it is an improvement. First and foremost, the pine is a big thing. It's dampening down that kind of influence on the beer is a good thing, and straight away makes it a winner. Carbonation, unfortunately, not much I can really do about that. It's a little bit, the Victory Ale is a little bit more carbonated than what I originally thought, and just between the two of them, it is just giving you that kind of feeling. And as you've heard, you are getting the sensation of slightly over carbonated, although not so much in the mouthfeel. You're getting maybe a little hint of it in the mouthfeel, but not as bad as what you actually think it is, and what it actually turns out to be. But yeah, a little bit too much in the carbonation. But yeah, the crystal malt's giving me a little bit kind of slightly more of a different malty dimension to the mid tongue. And I would say some of the citrus flavours are kind of being kind of slightly neutralised with that. You are getting, I'm not saying a lot, but you are still getting a bit of citrus in the aftertaste. But one of the great things is you're just not getting that pine edge. But the thing is, where you are getting that little bit of kind of over carbonation a bit in the mid tongue. So that's where we've kind of lost out. I'm kicking now. I'm just kicking things now underneath the desk because I'm a deviant. But yeah, I've gained a bit, but I've lost a bit as well. Slightly to the mouthfeel is detriment and the kind of overcarbonation. It's a bit of a disappointment, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do because I can't control that. And if you've got slightly something that's, you've got one beer that's slightly overcarbonated, you get another one that's slightly overcarbonated, when you put the two together, guess what? Regardless of the flavours, you're still getting something that's a bit overcarbonated, which is disappointing. But there is some level of success because get a little bit more malt in the mid-tongue, which is kind of slightly dampened down some of the citrus kind of flavours a bit, slightly neutralised them. I would say the pine has lost. You're getting a bit of citrus in the aftertaste, but the pine bit's lost, but you're still getting a bit of bitterness. So you're still getting the bitterness there, but it's not more towards piney. It's actually, you're getting a bit more of a kind of a more traditional kind of English hop bitterness. And excuse me, bloody thing's still coming back at me. They've only had less than half a pint. Anyway, so yeah, and yeah, there's a little bit more sweetness, I'd probably say. There's a nice kind of it's just disappointing, the carbonation's probably disappointed me the most, because without that it would have been even nicer. But yes, for me, I would take that as a win. I would take that as a success, because it has made it better in different ways. And unfortunately, like I said, we've lost a little bit. But overall, I would say it's a win. How would I compare it with part one? I would say part one, what we did with the lager, the Czech lager. Now, you can try it with all different types of lager. It doesn't have to be a Czech lager, just what I had available. So don't think it's a case that, oh, you must go and try and get Zlati Bazant 73. No. Try it with other lagers you maybe have in the fridge or something like that. If you want to try this, go and get some of the Griffin Gold if you want to try it. But also try it with other beers that maybe you've went out on a limb to try and experiment with, and it's just not for you. But again, if you've got more than one, then there's your options. Because it's a normal thing, because it's this type of thing. It's not a new thing, beer blending. Beer blending and ale blending especially has been going on for hundreds of years, basically. It was a very normal thing that landlords in pubs would actually blend beer to suit their patrons. So they would buy beers to actually blend, because they can then basically, they would know their patrons and they know their customers well. So what they would do is they would buy in certain beers so they could blend them together to get the flavour profiles that their customers enjoyed. And that's one of the reasons why their customers would go and drink in their pubs or inns and things like that, is because they were serving blended beer with the flavour profiles they wanted. And it was very, very popular Victorian times and everything else, fitting bottle tops. So it's not a new thing, but I think it's something that's been lost. I mean, even up to modern days, I mean, you used to get black and tans and everything else, and of course bitters and milds being basically kind of blended together, and well, there's lots of different blends that were kind of used. In fact, not even in this country. I mean, a good example as a thing with the Czech lager, they also do dark lagers, and it's very popular in the Czech Republic, and in the past when it was Czech-Slovak, is to mix dark beers and light beers together, and it'd be a half and half. In fact, they would actually pour them in a certain way so they'd actually still remain separated, and then as you drink them they would start to kind of obviously mix together. That's the use of the dark and the light separate in the pour and everything else. So it's not a new thing, and there's nothing groundbreaking, but it's an art that's been lost, and I think sometimes we just forget about it as an option. So if you do have some beer that isn't really that great, or doesn't really suit you, then try blending it and see what you get. Take a beer, a good safe beer that you know, and try and blend it and try some different ratios and see what you get. But yeah, it's something that was a big mainstay in pubs of the past and traditional inns and all that type of stuff, where landlords actually gave a shit about the beer and gave a shit about the customers. Unfortunately, the majority of pubs nowadays, the more modern style pubs, don't. Unfortunately, it's just any shit beer that they can get in and hopefully sell it for the right enough price that people will come in and back. So they don't really know their patrons, so there isn't really that personal touch and everything else, which has been lost, you know. So like you say, there's so many things of the past that related to quality that no longer exists. So yeah, we've gained on this, and it's quite good. It's been not as successful as what I thought it was going to be, and like I said, between the two, I would have probably said the lager, the part one, was better, because it didn't maybe drop the pine so much, but it dropped it enough to make it a lot more bearable, and it lifted the malt a little bit as well. That kind of made it a bit weird, but the mouthfeel was still nice. So overall, it was just more enjoyable because it had a nice mouthfeel. The annoying flavours weren't so annoying, and some of the nicer flavours were slightly boosted. So it kind of, like I said, it balanced things out again. But you had a slightly nicer mouthfeel and everything else, and just overall, it just felt like a nicer product. Whereas this one, it tastes quite nice. The problem is, though, is just the downside is the mouthfeel. Probably is the biggest thing. But overall, I would take it as a win. But out of 10, what would I give it? Because like I say, I think I gave this one, was it 2 or 3 out of 10? I did hammer it, and for quite a good fucking reason, because it's shit. But what would I give the blend? Now the last one I gave about 5.5. This one is less. I'd probably bring this down to, probably say maybe 4.5. 4. It's the carbonation thing that's getting me. Yeah, okay, I'll give it 4.5. It's between 4 and 4.5. I'm being generous by maybe giving it 4.5, but it's kind of in between it. It's not as bad as a 4, but kind of really not really quite 4.5 either. It's kind of somewhere in between. But yeah, I'll round it up and say 4.5, but look, it's slightly just behind it. But yeah, it has an improvement, but not as much an improvement as I thought it would be, because I just did not factor in this beer being as carbonated, which is a bit disappointing, but that's life. You don't know unless you try, and we tried, and we didn't quite make it. But anyway, whatever's left in the glass. So thanks for watching, cheers, and bye for now.